So, how's everybody doing on their New Year's resolutions? I think I don't actually make New Year's resolutions. I don't need any more reason to disappoint myself. So I don't make resolutions. But what I do is reflect. I do New Year's reflections to look back over the past year and see sort of where I'm standing now, where I've come from, what happened, what causes of celebration happened throughout the year. And I also take a look at the stuff that I would like to leave behind that are no longer serving me. And this year was interesting. It was different than previous years because it was a lot of both. It was a lot of all of it. There was so much transformation that happened for me personally this year, both internally and outwardly, which makes sense because our outward life is just an outpicturing of the consciousness that we hold, right? So I started a new job. I built an entire business that was a success in this new job that I had started. I became a doctor. Reverend Doctor, thank you. I wasn't actually originally planning on looking for the applause, but then when we were talking about celebration, I was like, I'm a doctor. There were so many amazing blessings, relationships healed, and my family is healthy and happy. There was so much good. And then there was a lot of stuff that felt like a lot, stuff that I would define as bad, right? There was, I think the biggest thing that was sort of weighing very heavily on me. First of all, the holidays are an interesting time for me now since my dad's passed, because it feels like there's now this having to make room for both grief and celebration at the same table, right? There's that longing, for lack of a better word, and also the joy of sitting in celebration with my family that's there and watching my kids tear into presents and the celebration that goes along with it. And so there's that component of it. And the other element is that, I work in the real estate industry. And so if you're paying attention to the macroeconomic economy, which I try very hard not to do because we know that prosperity is our birthright and that I don't have to look outside to define success or prosperity, and that I have thrived in it. I have been absolutely fine and had a new job and all of those things. And so while my consciousness is clear about the economy and the real estate industry, the relative facts are that I've seen a lot of people that I love very, very much, and a lot of my colleagues and friends and coworkers lose their jobs and be in a lot of fear. I've seen a lot of people, businesses close, companies close, all of those things in the relative that I want to deem as bad, right? Good when we get a doctorate, good when we start a new job, bad when a job ends. I was fortunate enough, the company that I worked at prior to this one, I kind of saw the writing on the wall, and I found this amazing job that I'm at now several months before the company closed. And a lot of people, 300 people that I worked with that I cared for very, very much either had to find new jobs or were out of job. I was fortunate enough to be able to hire the majority of my team to the new company, but it sucks. Let's be honest, right? And so when I was doing my year-end reflection, I felt the heaviness of all of that. It felt heavy in my body and this sense of mourning. And then the most amazing thing happens because remember, it's a consciousness, right? So I've committed to the consciousness of not getting into the muck of the relative yuck. But it doesn't mean I don't have the emotions from time to time. It doesn't mean I don't feel it. But all of a sudden I started seeing these people that I had this sadness for, that I had viewed this bad for, taking up new hobbies, starting new careers, being willing to be brave and daring to go in different directions, going back to school, spending more time with their kids, this industry has been so busy for 2 years of craziness. And I saw, that while I wanted to view the corporations as bad, they're bad. Don't they know that they've tortured these people for 2 years and now they just discard them when they're done with them? But that was my take on it, because what was happening in the real world, what was actually happening in consciousness, in the truth, in the massive cosmic universe that we live in, is that people were evolving. They were changing. They were finding their passion. They were finding what brings them joy, right? We have to stop judging things as good and bad. We have to stop defining our lives based on this thing is good, that thing is bad. These people are good, these people are bad. We teach oneness. There is no room for good and bad. We teach that life unfolds perfectly, no matter what. That we live in a universe for good. Evolution is painful sometimes. Change and growing and evolving beyond the status quo can be uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is not bad. It's uncomfortable. You know, Ernest Holmes talks about how we've learned all we need to learn from struggle, which seems in conflict to what I'm saying, except it's not. Change is constant. Evolution is constant. Challenge is constant. It's going to happen. Suffering is optional. Us deeming it bad puts us in that place of suffering. Ernest Holmes says, nature will not let us stay in any one place for too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. This is a wise provision, for should we stay there too long, we would become too set, too rigid, too inflexible. Nature demands change in order that we may advance. Change is inevitable. Change. There will be a moment where you will stand in such gratitude for that experience because unfolding perfectly, or things that don't seem out of place, or the things that seem wrong or bad, or it's all God, but not that. But I guess my question to you is, which one do you want to focus on? Do you want to believe that we live in an experiencing right this minute is something that I will say thank you for in the future? If that's the truth, then we can say thank you today. We can live in the gratitude of it today. We can strap on our dancing shoes and dance through anything and decide that I am never gonna not dance again. I am never gonna spend another moment questioning whether or not we live in a universe that is conspiring for my greatest good. I'm tired of living a life that questions cosmic perfection. I'm tired of questioning whether this is God and that's not. And while I will be honest that I do it a lot less of the time now, when I heard that song, I identified with it so much. How much of my life have I wasted not dancing today because I'm going through something? or putting everything else on pause because this feels painful, this feels too massive, this feels too big. Your joy cannot be taken from you. Your consciousness belongs to you. You decide how you're going to experience this life along with its constant change. You are going to evolve. You are going to change. You are going to experience challenges that allow you to evolve to the next state, the next evolution of who you are. That's inevitable. Our skin sheds everywhere. It's brand new skin. We are designed and created to want dopamine and to change. So if we know that, let's enjoy it. Let's dance through the experiences that might feel icky. Growth doesn't feel, that kids have growing pains. Their knees hurt. My son, who shot up 6 inches in the last 6 months. I'm sure Mindy's kids had some growing pains. They're very tall. We don't want to keep them small, right? We're not saying, gosh, your knees ache. Maybe we should just keep you 4'3" for the rest of your life. Growth is good. Change is good. So let's embrace it now. Let's dance in the now of change. I'm going to leave you with this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely and with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. We teach that principle is not bound by precedent, that whatever has come before, we can honor it, we can know that it was for our highest good, and we can bless it and start over today. So today, I choose to dance. Today, I choose to recognize that one thing ending is not the end of me. One thing ending is a celebration of what the me that comes next. And that's the choice that I choose to make today. I will never, ever spend a minute questioning whether or not my life is unfolding perfectly right now in this moment. And I invite you all to join with me and let it go. Let's dance through whatever the moment is. Let's dance through the stuff, the muck, the crap. Dance through the grief. I am, when we say I knew that I wanted to be I didn't always know I wanted to be a minister, but I knew that I wanted to continue to be the highest evolution of myself, right? And that was what I put out into the universe. And the universe conspires and always says yes. As much as I hate to admit it or didn't want to admit it, I am a more compassionate, enlightened, loving person because I've experienced the depths of grief. I don't get to say that the universe is not responding to my deepest desires because I'm experiencing something that feels like pain. I don't get to say, when I say I want to be happy and free and joyous, and somebody goes through a divorce or a challenge or a change that transforms, that has the power. I'm not getting divorced, by the way. Again, address that at the top. I was not talking about me. We don't get to say that we want to live the happiest, most joyous expressions of our lives and have things that are holding us back, but want to cling on to them and not let them go. But it's painful sometimes to let it go. So what if we just knew that now? and let it go and dance. Namaste. Thank you.